Andy Frisella is absolutely shining light on the fact that it sucks. It sucks. Like, somebody asked me the other day about being an entrepreneur and talk about the good stuff, and I was like, my God, the bad stuff so far outweighs the good. The hard stuff, you know. Like, I'm on the other end, and I have good stuff now, but in the process of it, man, building something, it's difficult. Like, you gotta make trade-offs. You gotta trade your Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays that most people think are theirs, and you gotta trade them and work, and you gotta trade your evenings. You gotta trade your early mornings. When most people are sleeping, you're not. When most people are having a drink at night with their buddies and toasting, you're not. You're working, and so it's a trade-off. I don't have a lot of memories from doing stuff like that, man. I don't remember any of my kids taking their first step. I don't remember any of their first words. You know why I don't remember it? Because I wasn't fucking there. That sucks, right? Yeah. And so I wish I could go back and teach that younger me how to control my calendar better too, so that I could still get that kind of stuff done and still not sacrifice relationships. But I sacrificed relationships. I sacrificed friends. I sacrificed and just didn't spend time. Like, you couldn't find me with a compass and a map, man, because I was working. And that was my persona for a long time. And now looking at that, I go, man, there's a way to do it without giving everything up. There's still a trade-off.
Right.
No way you can not do hard work. Like, hard work is the deal.
Right.
And most people think, oh, I start at 9, I get off at 5, I'll work hard. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's like a part-time job for an entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, but man, for you, what do you like to do?
That's my thing. I kind of boxed myself in a little bit. My mentor, he knows I'm entrepreneurial, want to start something. He's offered to help me start up an independent insurance agency. And the whole reason I went to Clemson is so I wouldn't touch my college fund. So I have that set. So I would start a business, could live for a few years.
Yep.
But I just wonder if I'm gonna enjoy that. And it sucks having to spend $15,000, $20,000 like that, not even know if it's gonna be something that I really like.
Right.
I love people, so I've always said I wanted to go into a sales role, but on top of that, I don't know what industry. Last summer I interned as an industrial engineer. I'm not an engineer, that sucked. But the part I enjoyed was anytime I was dealing with management and devising strategies for how they can better run machines.
Yeah.
The act of working on machines, hated it, but the act of
Working with
making a plan with the people was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've run online clothing brand.
Yeah.
It was good, but I'm not huge on fashion or anything like that. It was just, that's the new lemonade stand, is starting t-shirt companies online. So I don't know. How did you finally find something that clicked?
I was the same way. My whole thing was I wanted to be rich and I wanted to help other people make money.
Right.
And so there's probably a million different ways to do that or more. And I just fell into insurance. And I realized after the first year where Jeff and Nathan and I were running around trying to do everything in insurance, that we had to figure out a really narrow niche, and we had to go all in on that. And so that's what we did with working with first responders nationwide. That was the narrow niche we went all in on. And that was honorable. You know, I enjoyed knowing that I was taking care of those families. I enjoyed that immensely. And then working with that clientele, and they're the most underappreciated, underpaid people, just like teachers, and they're the backbone of America, you know. So that gave me the feel-good feeling. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what fulfills me is teaching other people to have success.
Right.
And we were able to utilize the system we put together to go do that. So, and I mean, like I told you, man, you may want to get advice from somebody else, man. It took me 22 years to figure that shit out. So, I mean, you can up the speed at which you figure it out, because now you know you want to work with people, you like problem solving, and sales a lot of time is problem solving. It's just figuring out the problem ahead of time and then having the product that meets the problem, and going and figuring out just how many need it, and working with those people, and the relationships you develop are the key in sales as well. But man, it sounds like you, like, you know, an independent agency, what would you look at doing there? What kind of insurance were you looking at?
So I'm in the process of getting my property and casualty license now.
All right.
My mentor wanted me to start out and sell commercial insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to 5 or 6 agents that have said nobody's going to buy commercial insurance from a 22-year-old. Not sure you can do it. And the first 3 or 4, I was like, whatever. But now that I'm talking to more and more people, and I've not had a single one say, I don't know that.
Nobody's going to buy commercial insurance from a 22-year-old. Interesting. Man, nobody, that's interesting.
And my mentor and I have talked through it, and he said, Tyler, why wouldn't they? If you can come to them, prove you're educated in it, don't let that hinder you. So that's why I've kept going with it for several months.
What if you were, what if you narrowed yourself down into a niche? Like the only one I know to talk about there would be, or whatever, so you did, maybe you did insurance on fire stations, police stations, trucks, police cars, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you narrowed yourself down into that niche. So
Right.
that was the place you were going. Or, you know, I can think of it's trucking companies, or it's whatever. Like you became the best at one industry.
Right.
That's what I mean. If I had to go back and I was starting something like that, that's what I would look at first. Just go, okay, they all have to have it. So who's the best at it now, and who has most of that type of business? And you find out who's doing it. Why are they good at it? You know, what are they not good at? And where's a niche that I could absolutely weasel into and become the best at? And form a system around, you know.
Okay. How do you get to that point where you find
Trial and error, probably.
trial and error? Just okay.
And research. And
So just call up places and say, ask if I can work there for a while, or what do I?
what do you mean?
As far as finding that industry that I want to go into.
Yeah, you could you could find out the agency that does that, and then go see if you can work for them and learn the business. Be one way to do it.
Okay.
If it's a successful agency. But yeah, it's going to be some trial and error. But you kind of know, and it doesn't have to be insurance, man. I mean, it could be something else. It could be, as long as I think if you're solving a problem and you're working with people, those are the 2 things you've mentioned so far that you enjoyed. Planning, strategy, people type stuff. Is that how your dad is too?
Definitely.
Yeah. So you're a lot like him? I figured. He always is so well thought out when he says something in our meeting. It's like, God, I'm super wise. I had to throw a bunch of explicatives in there so people would listen to me. But it's finding something that you can pour yourself into and not just learn, but test yourself, right? Like to make yourself grow. So it's uncomfortable to make 200 phone calls in a day. So do that for a little while. It sucks. Push yourself. Try to sell on the phone. It's uncomfortable to walk in 50, 60 doors a day. So walk in past no solicitation signs 50, 60 times in a day. That's hard to do. It's a lot. You know, it's these things are things that people don't, they look at that and they're like, oh, I want the quick fix. There's no quick fix to learning how to do what none of your friends will do, right? Learning how to work, how none of them will work. It took me years and years to learn that. If I could go back and tell my younger self, I'd be like, man, that first sales job that you had, selling commercial cleaning, like if I went back now into that role, I would still be in that role in the Northeast. Like I would own the freaking Northeast. I would own it. I would have walked in every freaking door. You wouldn't have been able to stop me now. I just didn't know. And I was always looking for that quick fix, not the Because nobody said, dude, you're gonna have to bust your sack. You're gonna have to work hard.
Right.
I probably wouldn't want to hear it anyway.
How do you balance that schedule? How did you finally get to that point?
Set parameters. You
Set
said at this
parameters.
time I'm done. And like I said, if you take on the attitude early on that you're going to look out for you, then you're going to set parameters around work. You'll set parameters around working out and eating healthy for your body. You'll set parameters around relationships, and you don't let one sacrifice the other, but you're all in whenever you do one or the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because what most people do is they leave work, right? And on their way home, they're not even all in on driving. They're checking these messages, and then when they get home, their kid's trying to hug them. They're still half in work, half in home, and they're never present in either one. And so that would have been something I would have taught my younger self early on, man. I would have been like, you know what? Be present in where you are and what you're doing, and set parameters around things.
Right.
Because you legit can smoke the activity of most of your friends and what they actually get done if you really hone your skills at work and you get done 100 times what someone else will get done. Man, when I was getting up at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning, which I still do when I do that, I'll get more done before 6 in the morning than most people get done that week.
Right.
Because I'm very just laser focused on what I had to do. But that's what most people don't do, man. They're never really off, and they're never really on. They're kind of on.
How do you not burn out with that then? Because I'll have mornings I'll get up at 4, just crush it that day, and then if you keep that up for a week, you start to drain a little bit. And
You just gotta set parameters. Set parameters, man. Look out for your health. Always. Don't ever stop looking out for your health. Learn all you can learn about what to eat, what not to eat. And stay healthy in the gym. Learn different styles of working out. Look at meditation. They're doing so much scientific research on meditation now and how it lowers your cortisol levels. And so I've started meditating in the mornings. I know it sounds kind of kooky, doesn't it?
you would have loved the December Visage meeting then.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
what
guy.
it was all about.
Yeah, that guy.
Dan
Brett talked
Miller.
about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it lowers your cortisol levels noticeably. And cortisol is great, but not if it stays high in your
Right.
system. It'll destroy everything. It's a cancer causer. It's acidic, and it breaks stuff down. But yeah, man, look out for those things. Like I said, man, you gotta. And Sean Whalen said this. You ever heard of him?
Sean Whalen.
Yeah, Sean Whalen is a great online. He's a great voice. Online, he's from Utah, Salt Lake City. He's actually coaching me personally, and he said he goes, man, people think I'm selfish. He goes, but the king eats first. Sounds selfish, doesn't it? The king eats first. You're the king. You eat first. If you're starving, can you help somebody that's starving? You eat first. And you take it to the nth degree, right? First of all, you gotta see yourself as a king. And I'd be telling you queen if you were a lady sitting there. But you have to look out for you, right? And it sounds backward, but we see, and every time you go on a plane, man, you see the thing, put your oxygen mask on first and then help the person to your right or left, right? Or the child. And there's givers and lovers in all of us, and we go, no, I gotta help that child. Well, if you have no oxygen, pal, you're dead. You ain't gonna help nobody. So it's taking that to another degree, and Sean Whalen used a great example. I put something on Instagram. Luigi helped me with it. And on Facebook with are you a lighthouse or a tugboat? They both have the same mission, right? They both save ships. The tugboat ends up where? Rusted, busted, destroyed in the scrapyard. And the lighthouse will stand for 1,000 years. They both have the same mission. The tugboat's out there trying to push somebody and push somebody and push somebody and tug somebody in and save the ship. The lighthouse is just shining its light. It's fulfilling its purpose. The lighthouse doesn't care if you crash on the rocks. It showed you where they were. That's your choice.
It all good.
Lighthouse also doesn't care if you miss them and go into the harbor. It just did its purpose. And so your thing now is to figure out what's Tyler's purpose and what's he going to be great at, what kind of thing can he get passionate about and pour himself into. And you may go through several things. You may go through 10 years of several things. You understand? Before you finally get it dialed in and you go, all right, now I got it, man. I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
Right? But in that process, you want to not be the tugboat. You can't save anybody. What you can do is make sure you're good and fulfill your purpose. Right? So when I started doing that, I was helping way more people fulfilling my purpose than when I was out there trying to save them myself and force people to be saved. Nobody wants you to do that.
Right.
Right? Nobody wants you to force their oxygen mask on. If they want to breathe no air, then let them. Right?
Yep.
As long as you take care of you. And so that was funny, sitting there with Sean Whalen, I didn't realize how much I was a tugboat in my life. And just how it was killing me, right? It was just absolutely draining me. At work, I had to be on for everybody. And at home, I had to be on for everybody. But I was never looking out for me, so I was depleted all the time. And I was frustrated all the time. So it was unique, but that would be one thing I would go back and tell myself is, don't be a tugboat, be a lighthouse. King eats first. You put that where you see it every day. King eats first. You know who eats first in a wolf pack? Number one alpha.
Right.
Why? He has to have energy so he can kill and bring food in for everyone else. Make sense?
For sure.
Same thing with lions. Got the females hunt, and the big lion still gets to eat first. It's funny.